Today is going to be a recap on how we've progressed on our journey. LGBT rights is a relatively new phenomenon. It's really only in the last 20 years that we've made significant legislative change. The last 18 months has been very difficult for everyone, and we've had to look at different ways in which we function. Within the FBU, I'm the National Secretary for the LGBT Committee. That places me as the person who acts on behalf of that committee. They give me instructions, I go away and make sure it gets done. I also assist the chair in coordinating the activities of the committee and coordinating events at Pride. Any specific issues to do with LGBT, regional representatives can come directly to me for support. And equally, if anyone contacts me nationally, I can redirect them to the relevant person who would be able to help. We're going to start off with a quick recap on how we've progressed over the last couple of decades in organising and campaigning for LGBT legislation. We're then going to also look at the battle that we've had to fight to keep things going during what has been a very difficult time as a consequence of the pandemic. We've missed out on a lot in the last 18 months. Pride events have all been cancelled. We haven't been able to have face-to-face, and we've had to find new ways in which to function. So I'll be talking a little bit about the pros and cons of what we've been doing. For those things are going to be continuing for the foreseeable future, and some of them are of benefit as well. And then to round off, I will discuss the burning issues at the moment, challenges which don't only just affect LGBT people, but affect anyone at all who has a protected characteristic, and the potential threat to the Equality Act currently. Well, whenever I started, discussion on anything to do with LGBT was almost a taboo. And now, you know, we've got people who are joining the fire service from day one who are able to say, oh, by the way, I'm lesbian, I'm gay, I'm a bisexual man, or trans. And that's an enormous step forward in what has been a very short space of time. I've only been on this earth for 54 years. And the year I was born was the year that they decriminalised homosexuality. So, you know, the whole concept of gay rights is relatively new in the bigger spectrum. You can draw a lot of parallels as well for our experiences within the fire service for what it is to be another minority. Should you be Asian, should you be black, should you be a woman? We've all had similar things of trying to fit into what has been a white male dominated heterosexual organisation. And a lot has come from mutual support and understanding that, you know, a lot of the fights that we have are very, very similar, and it's by standing together that we can actually make really good progress. Equality and inclusion should never be a bad thing. It enriches the workforce, it enriches the workplace, and for that everyone should be celebrating. I think recently we may have taken a few steps back, and we need to be mindful on which direction of travel equality and inclusion is going. But if we can identify if it's going off course, we have the opportunity to put it back in the direction it should be going. It's very important for people to get together, because when you're a minority you can quite often feel very isolated. And certainly my own experiences, whenever we've had education events, once you get people all together, quite often they have never really realised that they've been oppressed. It's only when somebody stands up and says, well, whenever I go into work, they call me this. And people say, well, they call me that as well. Well, what's wrong with that? And then when it's explained to them, they suddenly realise, well, that shouldn't be happening. But they'll quite happily soldier on in the workplace, ignoring the problems because it's easier to do so. But of course it doesn't help in the long term, because such problems have to be dealt with at some point. So yeah, coming along to these events, you know, it gives people the skills, the knowledge, the opportunity to network, the opportunity to discuss issues and concerns they have. And also it's a really good way of identifying other people's best practice and being able to take that back to your own workplace, you know, to make it an even better place.